Hi everyone, it's Will here. I think I'm getting used to this Mint Pro.
Hi, it's Emma. Let's have fun today.
Hi everyone. Thank you for coming to MinPro today. Today we're going to talk about robots.
MinPro.
Let's start by thinking about how a robot moves.
Hands, feet, and an engine? Gundam has a fusion engine.
Tires or a propeller? Doraemon flies with a hopter.
Engines and motors are often used to create a turning force, but a device that extends and retracts makes the robot's arm move.
That's a new word for me.
It's not used in regular conversation, but it always comes up when talking about robots.
That means we need to remember it.
Right. A tire, propeller, or arm can be attached to the end of the actuator.
So the tire and propeller aren't the actuators.
It is a device that changes the force to turn into a force to move forward. There's also a device called a linear motor, that moves straight without turning. The linear Shinkansen is a train that uses this device.
What kind of device extends and retracts?
The electrical solenoid is often used for switches and tap water valves. The hydraulic cylinder, that moves with oil and a pump, can generate a large force, so it is used in bulldozers and power shovels. In the future, a device called artificial muscle might be used. Robots that move with motors and cylinders look like machines. They might look more human-like if artificial muscles are used.
But motors and cylinders are still used now, right?
That's right. Gundam and Doraemon might become a reality in the future. Today, we are going to study about a tracing car.
Doesn't trace mean to copy or follow a line?
Very good. It also means to chase.
A car that chases you, like a police car?
In this case, it's like a police dog that follows your footsteps to your goal.
It sounds really smart.
The tracing car has an actuator and another essential part.
Is it what would be the police dog's nose?
That's right. It is an input device called a sensor, like an eye or a nose that finds footprints. A sensor is a device that detects something. It checks for light, sound, and the presence of objects.
What about smells?
That type of sensor isn't used for this tracing car, but I'm sure there's one at your house. A gas leak alarm uses a sensor to sense the smell of gas.
We have one in my kitchen.
The tracing car is built using actuators and sensors. First, we must decide what to chase and what goal to reach. That is the purpose of this tracing car's movement. This time, we will follow the black road to the goal. Here is the course we will use. We will use a micro bit in the assembly type robot car ring bit. The tracing car has a light sensor to identify the road, and a sensor to find the goal. It also has a motor and tire on the left and right.
It's pretty small.
It's cute. It would be even cuter if it had a cover.
This is the basic shape. You can modify it as you like and play with it. We will use make code for the programming language. It is very similar to Scratch. It is better to program without thinking about the language, but when you are actually programming, it might be easier to use a familiar language.
It's nice that we can program using blocks like Scratch.
Maybe what I've learned so far will come in handy.
Yes, I think that the Scratch language will continue to evolve and be usable in more areas. Now, let's think about the actions of a tracing car in detail.
Do you mean like start and stop?
Right. The tracing car moves to reach the goal, but we must think about what the sensors will look for, and what will happen when something is found. First, Let's look at the sensor type and input status. The eye that looks at the road is the line tracing sensor.
So it traces the line?
It actually has two light sensors.
Is it a line tracing sensor because it has two sensors?
That's a good question. It's handy to have two eyes when traveling along a line or a road.
I wonder what's handy about having two eyes.
Well, if there is only one light sensor, we can only tell whether we are on a black road or not. When there are two sensors, we can tell whether we are in the middle of the road, deviating to the right or left, or whether we have strayed entirely from the road. Then it's easy to determine the action of traveling along the road.
That's why it is a line tracing sensor and not a light sensor.
Changing the movement of the car according to the results of the sensors is called feedback. Let's program how the car should move to travel along the road.
If it's on a black road, doesn't it need just to travel straight?
What about if it deviates to the right or left of the road?
It could turn in slightly to the opposite side.
If the car strays entirely from the road, how should it get back?
It could stop and reverse.
Then, what?
Move forward again, then turn right and return.
What if the road has curves?
It might deviate from the road again.
You could go around in a circle.
That's a good idea. If the car strays entirely from the road, it might be able to return by making a big circle back.
So, it can make an about turn and then go straight when it finds the road.
What if there's no road?
If it makes an about turn, it will return to the road, right?
If it can't turn around properly, and it's still off the road, it might go around in circles if it makes another about turn, won't it?
That's right. It's essential to think about what will happen when things go wrong. When the car loses sight of the road, and can't find it after circling the area once, it can gradually increase the circle of movement.
So it will find the road as it circles around.
That's not really cool.
What would be a cool way to find the road?
Well, the car could drive around the area and find it.
Finding it by chance isn't really cool either.
I think it's more fun than driving around in circles.
Will, why don't you try programming the car to drive around randomly?
The human concept of random is the most difficult for a computer to understand.
Really?
How do you want the car to travel?
Well, it could repeat moving forward a little, turning a little, and then moving forward a little again. The travel distance and turning angle would have to be changed accordingly.
So you mean, deciding on a random distance and angle, and having the car travel for that amount. A different random distance and angle are set. When that sequence is completed, the car travels. This step is then repeated.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind.
Will's randomness has been created into a proper program.
Oh, okay. That's how we can use randomness.
That's good. You'll be able to program the movement.
What kind of blocks can you use to express randomness?
Let's see. Maybe random number?
That's correct. How would you use random number?
I will use it for the distance and angle of travel.
That's right. Okay, Will and Emma, try creating a program to search for a road using different methods.
Okay. Then we can run the car and compare our programs.
Try experimenting to find a good programming method. There are contests where students like you, who are learning to build robots, develop their own robots that suit their purposes and compete in their movements.
I've seen a robot contest for high school students on TV.
There were girls too.
That's right. The participants come up with various creative ideas and create their robots. Even if the purpose is the same, there are various robots with different methods and shapes. It might be fun to share your ideas too. Shall we summarize the programming?
If the car is on a black road, it travels straight. If it deviates to the right, it turns toward the left.
If it deviates to the left of the road, it turns toward the right.
If it strays off the road, it uses its own method to find the road.
I hope it can find the road.
Okay, let's try moving the programmed tracing car.
Well, it looks like the best way to get back to the road is to turn around and around.
Yes, it's easy to see by actually moving the car.
That's right. Even if you think it will move well in your mind, it might not move so well in reality. When you actually move something, you need to examine the differences between your imagination and reality carefully.
What kind of differences are there?
For example, the tires might slip, or the light sensor might not function because the black paper expressing the road is bumpy. If the black road is smooth and reflects the light well, it will be mistaken for white.
So the car might not see the road even if it's there?
It might go somewhere else looking for the road.
This would be a disaster if it were a self-driving car carrying passengers.
There can't be any mistakes during autonomous driving.
If the car strayed from the road, there'd be a disaster.
You need to provide means to respond if something happens. It is very important to program so that the system operates smoothly, and has alternative operations just in case. That's why the engineers who are programming autonomous driving, consider and experiment with various situations. I hope that we will have safe autonomous driving soon.
Rotating the motor at 100% to travel faster only causes the movement to become unstable.
A car's operation must be smooth.
But it's not cool to travel slowly.
I thought safety was more important than looking cool.
I wonder if it's possible to drive fast and smooth.
Why don't you ask the doctor?
Nah, I want to find a method myself.
Wow, you are really motivated.
Being cool is my goal.
Good luck, Will. The hint is acceleration and deceleration. In this session, we thought about what to look at, how to judge, and how to make the tracing car move. How to judge means programming to think.
Do you mean AI, by any chance?
Yes. Our next session will be about thinking computers. Please join us.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.